Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to show you my last recent project, a character that I've been really enjoying, and it's actually a Winter Orb Slayer. And if you're wondering in the first hand, why the fuck would you actually take Slayer as a Winter Orb character? Besides being Winter Orb like purely shit since they nerfed the shit out of it after Synthesis League, since that back in the days it was like the undisputed best skill in the game. And I gotta say, I have not really looked into Winter Orb since Synthesis League, so that's like fucking 8 leagues ago, that's like 2 years. But oh boy, I freaking love this character. I still remember the playstyle, and it's still pretty good. On the fact, like, why do you go Slayer with it? Well, for the ones that know Path of Exile quite well, I'm just going to quickly introduce the character, how it works, how it's built together. And then we're gonna, like, after the map showcase, we're gonna talk about in-depth for the new players and stuff so they know what's happening. So basically, I'm scaling as many power charges as possible through a skill tree, through items and whatnot. That means I have, like, let's say 10 power charges, which I don't have, but just for theory, I have 10 power charges. Through the Badge of the Brotherhood, I get the same amount of Frenzy charges, which means that I have 10 power, 10 Frenzy. Then I go with the Slayer, the Masterful Form, which says maximum endurance is equal to maximum Frenzy, means I have 10 power, 10 Frenzy, and 10 endurance charges. That's the reason why we actually go Slayer, just because of Masterful Form. And then I added the Iron's Anguish, which converts my endurance charges into brutal charges, and I sustain both the brutal and the frenzy charges through the replica Pharaoh, and we have power charge on crit to sustain our power charges. The aim of this build is actually to scale a lot of AoE plus projectile speed. And yeah, frequency, cast speed, all of the good stuff, so Winter Orb actually does not feel trash. So the problem with Winter Orb is literally, like, you load it up and it just shoot its missiles, right? But the thing is, if you do not have good area of effect, and I'm heavily investing into AoE, we have like AoE over here, we have AoE over here, we have double vast power magnifier, and we also get as much AoE as possible, like weapon enchants, everything that gives you AoE. That's what we want to have. The goal is for me to reach at least 25 AoE radius. I do think I should have that right now because in the most recent POB on level 89, now I'm like level 93 on this character. I have here 24, but I have some more levels, so I actually got Amplify and Discipline and Training, and here we have AoE radius 25, and this is basically exactly what I wanted to have. Good. How does the map showcase look like? And then a little bit, or first a little bit of storytelling. How does this actually work together? Or the main idea about the Pharaohs, the Iron's Anguish and stuff. I did play the same template. Template is actually a good keyword here. Last league on my Flicker Strike Slayer. And yeah, mbX plays Flicker Strike. I called it Shadow Strike. It was a Flicker Strike. It was the last build I've played last league. I spent like 10 mirrors on it or something like that. It's ridiculous. Like, no joke. I hate Flicker Strike, but that build was fucking cool. And it also used Replica Pharaohs and the Iron's Anguish and the Slayer Ascendancy and stuff like that but just scaling frenzy charges everywhere. Frenzy charges on ring, frenzy charges anointed, skilled, and get the same amount of brutal charges through the replica, basically. So the same idea, just this way we go one step further. We don't play a melee character, we play a caster. So we do take void batteries, we do power charge scaling and add a Badge of the Brotherhood. So we still maintain our frenzy and brutal charges coming from the belt and from the aspect of a spider with the replica Pharaohs. So that's basically the core idea. So I would say I have no idea what that map is, but it doesn't matter. We're just gonna go with Nico over here, because first we're gonna run the map and then we're gonna also run some Delph before we go into the in-depth of this character, about the gearing potential that we have, what should be added at some point and stuff like that. So as I said, I don't really have to, like, permanently load up my stuff, okay? That means I don't have to stand here, go to 12 charges, and then next pack 12 charges, and next pack 12 charges. Absolutely not needed, okay? All I do is basically a Blade Vortex style. So I'm just running around. Mira? Mira? No Mira. And I just tip it one single time. Like 1 or 2 charges is fairly enough to kill off, or at least, yeah, to kill off entire packs, because we run Blast Freeze, we run very heavy AoE, and as you see, the clearing, the speed, it's just super enjoyable. And if you're wondering, yo, great, another explode chest. No, it's replica Pharos. There is no explosion involved over here, okay? There is no cluster jewels or no impulsor or whatsoever. We could actually do this, defeat waves of enemies, okay? Defensive-wise, there needs to be a lot of more stuff added, which comes with better gear, more currency and stuff. But I do actually plan to go Divine Flesh on it, as well as ailment immunity, which I don't have right now. I actually have negative chaos resistance. I'm not ailment immune, so if I die, then it's probably because either I got shocked or ignited or something like that. But this is something I will work on in the future. But just the sheer fact that we have so much cold damage and we are freezing, like if my missiles shoot in, like almost everything stands still. And freeze is actually a very, very good layer of defense in that regard. So I'm not really dying too often. I'm now level 93 actually with my 4k life. We do have Slayer Overleech though, right? Don't forget about that. But I'm just saying, like, the Slayer Overleech is basically, like, Slayer Overleech and Freeze are the only two defensive mechanics that I currently have, which kind of sucks, you know? There is no, like, evade or dodge or block or mitigation happening, as well as, like, I would have it if I would not play with the belt. Then I would actually have 12 endurance charges, and endurance charges give you physical damage mitigation, stuff like that, which is pretty nice to have. But I just want to play with the belt. I love brutal charges. It's chance to deal triple damage. It's like 3% per charge. It's like ridiculous, but as you see, even without all of the defense mechanics that I want to add, we still managed to do, like, what is this, a T15 something corrupted on Awakener 8. So as you see, it's not really unplayable just because we're lacking the defense mechanics. I'm just saying, if I get one-shotted, then it's usually because I got frozen somewhere, or at least shocked at some point, or ignited or something like that. So I definitely want to get ailment immunity. Slayer is still one of the fewest sentences actually left. Slayer is still one of the few ascendancies left that do not have ailment immunity. Like, Elementalist has ailment immunity through the golems, Inquisitor has ailment immunity, I think Hierophant has ailment immunity, Raider has ailment immunity, what else? Like, there's a lot of classes that now have ailment immunity, which is pretty good. But single target wise, hope I don't kill myself here, it's not bad, okay? It is not bad, I have to say. Good, that was map showcase. Let's actually do a delve, because I really like delving with this character. I'm currently on monster level 83, somewhere 200 something delve, I don't know. I have done almost every boss in the game already with this build, which includes every boss watched by Maven, okay? I did Shaper, I did Elder, I did Uber Elder. I hilariously failed on Maven and Uber Atziri, so, but I think that's more like, how you say, kept in player skill, more or less. But I do think for those hefty bosses in Awakener 9, I would like to have more damage, but some of my items are just ridiculously bad, as well as this ring is actually counterproductive because it adds Frostbite, and I actually want to have Sniper's Mark and do not run, I do not run an additional curse. So, for mapping it's good. Oh, look at this, man. It's so beautiful. It's just a pure joy to just throw on your Wind Orb and just run around, have these massive explosions without exploding, just for the pure AoE scaling. And I gotta say, man, I love this build, man. I'm definitely gonna invest more into it. I'm not gonna lie, I really, really like this. And this is a template character, as I mentioned before, and template character means for me that I can opt in any skill, you know? Obviously, now we're going for like a minus cold dress helmet and stuff like that, so you wanna actually take a cold skill if you do that, right? But just the pure fact that we're scaling frenzy charges and power charges and brutal charges and void batteries, which is a generic spell damage, does also mean that we can opt in any other spell that we want to have. We could play Blade Vortex with it, we could play Reap, Exsanguinate, like, I don't know, you can play Ice Nova, Frostbolt, or whatever you want to do, you know? It's literally plug and play, basically. But as you see, for map showcase, we're actually going to run another node, because it's so much fun to just run around and blow up things here. For defensive layer, also, we have the Frost Shield, which I barely use. So in the map showcase itself, you saw that I didn't use it. I'm gonna swap away from that, because Yeah, it's a very good defensive mechanic. You just pop up this big shield and you get like less damage because a portion of the damage is absorbed by the shield and whatnot. But realistically, for my playstyle, 99% of the time, or let's say 9 out of 10 maps, I never have Frost Shield active. The only time when I actually use it sometimes is in the Ultimatum. Because most of the time I'm running around like a headless chicken because my Winter Orb does the job, so I'm just like doing like this and run around in the frozen shield more or less. But to be honest, it's probably not worth for my play. It is good, but I'm just not using it frequently, so I think it's a waste for me, basically. Oh, let's do this power chart, like this currency node, so you all see me picking up my first mirror of Out of Exile. It's not from the league, it's actually the first mirror that I would ever find, which is going to happen quite soon. I love this build. It just press one button and keep on running, you know. And since we have Badge of the Brotherhood, we get like so much elusive effect if you have elusive boots that you instantly like charge a turbo more or less, and you get like 250, 300% movement speed. It has good single target basically. It has hefty clear. It's fast. Like overall, dude, I just love this build. I don't know what else to say. But let's finish off this note here. And then we're gonna pick our mirror, and then we're gonna talk about the build. Yeah, proximity shield, give it to me. Perfect. Where is it? Lots of loot filter sounds, but no mirror. 10,000 hours in the game. 10,000 hours. Playing a lot. I'm actually playing this game a lot. Still, no mirror. Yeah. But as I said, map showcase, I think you get a pretty good understanding on how this build actually looks like and works, and yeah. Should actually stop talking and swarming about this build because probably prices will skyrocket after this video. But anyways, let's talk about the generic idea. As I said, there is some core parts. Path of Building link is in the description below. So you can just copy paste everything that I have if you don't care about how everything works together. But as I said in the start, we do scale power charges. So I made a small like a spreadsheet over here. What do we actually get? So for every power charge here, the generic ones, we get 40% increased crit strike chance. For frenzy charges, we get attack speed, cast speed, and more damage. For endurance charges, we get ally res and fist damage reduction. I think it's 4%. And if we use the belt, we actually convert our endurance charges into brutal charges, which means that we have a 3% chance to deal triple damage per charge, right? And then there's other things that you can add, which is, for example, the basic stuff that you get. Then, for example, Vast Power. This is the one that I talked about. This got heavily nerfed. This was uncapped. Now it's capped at 3% per power charge, which is fine, but up to a maximum 50. So I have 9 power charges times 3. And I have 2 times 2. It's 54. So I'm actually with 9 power charges. You're overcapping your Vast Power. So I would not take more than 2. And if you actually get to like, yeah, I would actually stick with 2. I'd rather have a little bit 2 more AoE that gets overcapped than having too low AoE, because, you know, AoE is love on this build, and it's about projectiles overlapping and get some ridiculous amount of damage as well, right? Then, spell damage on the tree. This is the small node over here. We get 4% spell damage per power charge. Then we do have the void batteries. It is calculated because it says minus 55. It is every void battery basically gives you 80% reduced spell damage. So you need at least 4 power charges to actually get a profit out of it, okay? That's why I have here the minus 80 here. Then live region on boots. I did craft these boots yesterday. It's actually really insane boots. We have elevated onslaught, elevated tailwind, we have elusive and stuff like that. But I just crafted this yesterday, so don't worry guys, I used these boots before that. That's the replica Ineas, so you're actually gonna see if I pop those in here. Just the same setup here. You're gonna see that I'm still res capped, and this is like I got these boots now with cold resistance, but you see I'm still res capped. That means, or close to res capped, very close. I need some catalysts in the belt to fix that. But this is the playstyle I had before, right? Yesterday I crafted boots, so these are my new boots, which I really like, and there will be a crafting video of these boots probably in the upcoming day, so you see how we actually made this one. But these boots give you damage per power charge, regen per power charge, and movement speed per power charge. So I listed that one over here as well. And then there's precursor rings that give you like movement speed, physical damage reduction, flat damage, percentage damage, multiplier, energy shield, like regen, whatever you can think of. Precursor rings would actually be quite nice in this build, although I think I will go with the synthesized rings just because I want to get Chaos Res capped for Divine Flash to add another layer of defense, and with Precursors I have no chance of getting Chaos Resistance, but I can use the synthesized rings and get like T1 Chaos Res on them to help getting those, the Chaos Resistance rolling. So now we actually said that we scale power charges. You're not going to see any Frenzy Charge or Endurance Charge on my entire build, more or less. It's just power charges. So let's say I get 10 power charges, or actually, maximum would actually be 12. We're going to talk in a second how do we get that. But for the 12 power charges, we get 12 Frenzy Charges through the Badge of the Brotherhood. This is the amulet over here, which basically says your maximum Frenzy Charges is equal to your maximum power charges. And then we have the Masterful Form from the Slayer Ascendancy that says your maximum endurance charge is equal to your maximum frenzy charges. So the same way what the Badge of the Brotherhood does for power frenzy, this is the one that does for frenzy and endurance. So if we get 12 power charge, let's say 10, just for the easier calculations. So we have 10 power charges, we get 10 frenzy through Badge of Brotherhoods, and we get 10 endurance charges from the Masterful Form, and also from the Arn's Anguish. We're going to convert those endurance charges into brutal charges. So if you want to say like, yo, I want to play with Headhunter, no worries, you just swap out, like get in the Headhunter, and therefore you will be awarded with 10 endurance charges, which will make you a lot more tanky. And for bosses, you can just swap in this belt and benefit from the brutal charges. But as you see, 400% increased crit strike chance, 40% attack speed, cast speed, more damage, 30% chance to deal triple damage, a bunch of AoE. Since we have 2 Boss powers, it would actually be capped in like 60 now, or at least 50%, but I would have 60, 40% spell damage, the Void batteries, 170% spell damage each, so it's a lot of cool stuff that we get through these charges, and it's just very, very cool to play a character like that. It also involves a lot of unique items. If we talk about the cost, the price of the build, I would say safely 30x minimum. It's just the replica Pharos is worth a lot. So if you check that, the rest of the gear is not too expensive. So replica Pharos, that's the problem, and probably after this video they will be even more expensive. So this starting price 19 exalts. This is a must-have, because otherwise you will not have a way to generate your frenzy charges or endurance charges. Frenzy charges maybe with a I say with a chest, you know, with 10% chance of frenzy on hit, or a precursor ring with frenzy on hit would probably solve the issue, but you're still not gonna get your endurance charges unless you wanna count on if you get hit recently and stuff. It just sucks. Get a replica Pharos, get Aspect of the Cat, and you will maintain your endurance and frenzy charges, or frenzy and brutal charges in that case, even in hideout, because every time you get the cat's agility or stealth, you're gonna refresh those things, and power charge and crit to get the power charges going. So it's just, you know, if you don't have 30x to play with, just don't touch this build. Just because this oh god, my auto search is pissing me off. Deactivate live search. But, you know, 30x, 40x maybe, and you should be fine to clear all content. As I said, I was not able to kill Maven yet, but I will certainly do at some point. But yeah, then we talk about Void batteries. They are cheap. Like, Void batteries are dropping in price. Why is my Awakened macro not working? What is this? Awakened PoE trait macro. Ah, now it goes. So Void battery apparently costs 35 chaos. The Badge of the Brotherhood costs 1 exalt. The Arn's Anguish costs 5 chaos. The Replica Ineas cost 5 chaos. And that's it. So 30 chaos, or 35, 35, 1x, 5 chaos, 5 chaos. Pretty easy. Dying Sun, 0.4x, also easy to obtain. Bottled Faith, no need. Okay, it's just for min-maxing, since I started to invest more into this build. It's not really necessary at all, but it is the best flask, hands down. Like, a Bottled Faith and Cinder Swallow would be actually core flasks for every build, even for Essence Drain. I mean, the 10% increased damage taken to enemies on consecrated ground is just too good. I even play this on a dot build just for the 10%, right? So, but as I said, without the Pharos, it's just half of the build, and it's a must-have item, I would say, and it costs 20 exalt, so that's why I say 30x, and you should be fine to do all content. Good. Talking about the other stuff, as I said, we talked about the mechanics. Let's go over the gems real quick. Cost one damage taken, low level with Immortal Call, and high level Steel Skin, so it doesn't get triggered by cost one damage taken. And I have this on my auto walk, so it's just an additional little bit of an absorb shield and increased duration on the weapons. Flame Dash, Arcane Surge, and Divergent Second Wind. I actually got the one with the life regen instead of the extra charge because the Badge of the Brotherhood will make my movement skills like refresh that fast because we have like what is it, 10% increased cooldown recovery rate of travel skills per frenzy charge, right? And we do have a lot of those, so I don't think it's ever necessary to get the extra charge here. I actually even think that second wind is not really necessary in this build. But keep your Arcane Surge on a low level so it actually triggers on every dash. On the other hand, Val Righteous Fire, Frost Shield, and the increased duration. Although I have to say, I barely use Val Righteous Fire. Since they changed that, you lose 60% of your life. Or deals, what is it, 60%, yeah, instead of 40%. So every time I use Val Righteous Fire, I'm scared to die right after, because then I'm like on 2,000 life until I leech it back up and stuff, you know. Then we have Winter Orb. I took the Phantasmal one for the projectile speed, so it feels a lot smoother to play, even though it's less damage, but I think I do have good damage yet. Then Power Charge and Crit, Control Destruction, then Infused Channeling. So you need to channel a little bit to get the infusion, but it's very good. Then GMP and Hypothermia support. In my gloves, I have Sniper's Mark, Divergent Frost Bomb, and Arcanist Brand. So 4 bosses, I put down my brand, and it will trigger the Frost Bomb with the cold exposure and the Sniper's Mark for the increased projectile damage taken, and here a less duration. Why do I have a less duration over here? Because I have here the aspect of the cat skill. So what that means, if I not use aspect of the cat, like the less duration, you're gonna see that the cat's agility will last quite long. Okay, and then it goes back to the cat stealth, and guess what? We lost all of our frenzy charges, all of our brutal charges. Now we're gonna get them back, okay? Why is that? Because if you scale into frenzy charge, there's usually travel nodes that have frenzy charge duration, endurance charge duration, or power charge duration. We don't have any of that. So that means every time we have a 4-second window to not have any buffs. Easiest fix, we put a less duration support in the slot where we have the cat's agility, and you're gonna see what happens here on the buff. 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds, and you're gonna see that my stuff gets refreshed with 5 seconds left duration. So if you play a skill with aspect, less duration, and you will permanently maintain your charges because it switches the stances a lot more often. It's not like that I plan to have longer duration on cat stealth or agility. I personally don't even fucking care, but what I want to have is a permanent uptime of my charges. In the boots, I have Enlighten, Tree, Herald of Ice, and Hatred. Yes, this Herald of Ice is a 1 link without increased AoE, and it clears like insane. It's really, really cool. Coming to the rare items, on the helm, a Warlord with power charges would be great, because 1 power charge is 1 frenzy, is 1 brutal charge, and this is how the build scales. I chaos spammed this one. I actually hit T, 10 life, which is super nice. Now actually this helm is utterly garbage, but I'm always like trying to get the base core done, farm currency, craft the first item. Like, check this ring. What is this? Fizz damage to attacks, mana, frostbite, and crafted dexterity. I don't need this ring. I could just destroy this ring. I would not even care, okay? If you think like, yo, there was frostbite. Yeah, but I have Sniper's Mark. So it's like utterly garbage gear. Then I farm currency, and then I craft things like that, which is like super endgame, okay? This is Tailwind Elusive, what is it? Onslaught boots. They are insane. They probably cost more. These boots alone, which I crafted for like 25x or 20x, these boots cost probably more than my entire build, you know? And then I just go for the next one. For the rings, I want to have 1 max power charge on the synthesized. They go for about 40 to 50 exalts, and I would craft those. But these rings were just placeholders. I really was starving dexterity until I put in a fluid motion to convert the strength into dexterity. Now I don't have a dex problem anymore, and I can level up my Sniper's Mark. But things like that, whatever, you know, life resistance, that's good. The other ring, the same shit, like, what is it? Intelligence, life? I mean, the life is not bad, but ally damage, light radius, global accuracy rating, mana. It's life and 1 crafted resistance. This is what this ring is about. I would also destroy it, but I need the intelligence right now to equip my void batteries, okay? The gloves at the moment, life resistance. They are not bad because they have this temple modifier, but they are not endgame, okay? I just got them for, I think, like 1 exalt. It had good resistance. And it was an open suffix to get aspect of the cat on it, so I took these instead, right? But now it's about to gain more upgrades, power charge and minus cold resistance, for example, on the helmet with better life. You know, the synthesized rings with Womax power charge and chaos resistance for divine flash. Then gloves maybe with unnerve and I don't know, like faster casting up. I don't know. There's multiple ways to do that, but the glove spot is usually for life resistance. I want to get ailment immunity on those two here for like 30%, and then gonna see if I'm actually gonna spend a lot of points to get to crystal skin, or actually just invest into the small cluster jewels to get myself ailment immune, right? Flask, bleed immunity flask. I don't think this is too necessary since we have overleech. Bleed immunity, yes, but here I have freeze immunity. But I think like a corrupted blood jewel and Slayer overleech should be fine to counter bleeds, and then you can actually run a cinder swallow instead, right? Anything else? No. Talk about the trigger real quick. As I said, fluid motion. Here I put in an unnatural instinct. That was one of the last upgrades that I did, just because skill effect duration, AoE, cast speed, spell damage, life regen. It's just the perfect spot for an unnatural instinct, almost as good as on the top side over here. But other than that, I would skip the entire thing here if you're leveling this. And unnatural instinct is like 8 exalts, right? Or 6.9 exalts. Yeah, this is one of the things that you can get, but it's not really mandatory. Watcher's Eye, I have a standalone hatred crit. Why not? But at some point, I probably don't even need hatred crit anymore, just because I have so many power charges, and I get like, what is it, 400% increased critical strike chance. So the Bottled Faith crit and the Watcher's Eye are probably going to be kind of useless once we reach a certain amount, or even the Diamond Flask probably going to get swapped out later on as well. Then here for the cluster jewels, here I have Blanketed Snow, Doriani's Lesson, and Vengeful Commander. Vengeful Commander is the effect. This is actually not that great. I would go for Prismatic Heart, but Jewel with Blanketed Snow, Doriani's Lesson, and Prismatic Heart cost like 20 exalts. I'm not willing to pay that, to be honest. I probably craft it myself at some point, but it's fine. I'm actually only running one large cluster jewel at the moment. Medium ones, double mass power magnifier, which is super cheap, like 20 chaos a piece. For the jewels, we have like life, projectile speed, resistance, multiplier. In the perfect world, you have a quadra multiplier. Or life with triple multiplier, but I'm still like min-maxing my character. There is still like a lot of resistance and stuff like that needed, so I can swap away from like res on my jewels, for example, to get more multiplier, because multiplier is damage. And I have these jewels like all over the place. This one is cast speed, multiplier, life resistance. This is projectile speed, multiplier, life resistance. Over here as well. And I think over here as well, it's always the same jewel kind of thing, just to get me going, right? Here on the third medium, I have Blast Freeze and Conductivity. It means we are always chilling. We not run Ellie Focus, means we chill enemies and they get shocked, which is a super good for clearing. And Blast Freeze as well freezes you, inflict spread to other enemies with a radius of 12. This is like one Winter projectile hits, everything is frozen. It's like really good to have, but I would say it's just for lower AoE, I'm not sure, I need to test this. If I would completely skip this away, if I feel a difference in the clearing, because since I gathered so much AoE already and my projectiles overlap, I think I probably don't even need Blast Freeze anymore. There is other things, medium cluster jewels, that you can take, which is like infused focus or something, which gives you more effect of your infusion, since we're having infusion up all the time based on since we're channeling. There is like another AoE one that gives you life and AoE, I think like Towering Thread or something like that. There are some ways that you can build in. I have to check what will be the next option, or if I'm just going to stick with one large and take anything else. I need to check. I have here an Intuitive Leap. It's not necessary. You know, the Discord Artisan is not needed. The Mysticism is not needed. I only took this one actually for Blast Radius for 10% Ink AoE. But to be honest, if you skip all of that and just put in another jewel, you're fine. This was just a solution where I said like, yo, I don't have a large cluster jewel. I don't know where to spend my points. I even got this life node in this area of effect over here. So at the moment, I don't need anything. So I just buy this for this like yeah, it's like 100 chaos or so, and I just pick this, and I think next level I maybe like pick Prodigal Perfection, even though I'm not even mana stacking or just taking life notes. But I see myself, once I gather the next cluster jewel, to just skip the intuitive leap completely and just pick up another jewel slot with like multiplier, life, resistance, whatever I need. For the Slayer Ascendancy, we have the Life Leech, we have the Headsman and Bane of Legends. The 20% cal is actually insane, and obviously Masterful Form to make this build actually work. So one thing, now we're actually gonna take some cool paint skills about Winter Orb, and why do I think everything below 25 AoE radius makes Winter Orb kind of garbage. Let's say you are here, okay? That's you, and that's the boss, or the monster that you want to hit. Wait, that's... I'm like super bad at drawing circles, although that's actually a pretty good circle. So, what happens if you have low AoE? We're gonna make this orange. So, your projectiles, one will be here, one will be here, one will be here, maybe one here, 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 and here, okay? So even though you shoot a barrage of projectiles, you know, there's only one or two actually hitting the boss, which is like a big DPS loss, basically, right? So where is my mouse? What if you do if you scale AoE, and we're gonna make this red, you're gonna make the circles, the impact circles, a lot bigger. And then you're gonna notice that even more and more projectiles will actually hit the boss. Instead of one before, we now have like 3 or 4 projectiles hitting the boss. And now is the question, if I'm like need to test this one, right? If I use conk effect, then probably my entire spread will not be the orange circles. It will be probably more like the yellow circles and be like more spread towards the actual target, because it's not like spread out that much. But if we still maintain a lot of AoE, we probably get to a point where almost every projectile hits the target, and that would be ridiculous amounts of single target damage. If you just tune in exactly in this second, like this is a picture of me in the summer sun drinking a pina colada. Good. It's still testing. It still needs to improve a lot. But overall, dude, I love this build, and I cannot wait until I add more and more stuff. I recently finished the boots. Now I'm going to work on the helmet or on the rings. I can just recommend. It's great. For the MTX, if you're wondering, that's the complete Stygian set with Stygian wings, like everything that has Stygian, right? If it's a weapon, if it's the boots, the character effect, the portal, everything Stygian, footprints. The only difference, dark magic effect, and it's also Stygian. Never mind. So everything is Stygian, okay? If you want this MTX, go to the shop, type in Stygian, and you will probably find everything that you need for this build. And for the MTXs here, Celestial Winter Orb, Stygian Flame Dash, Harbinger Righteous Fire, Dark Immortal Call, Celestial Frost Bomb, Soul Nexus Aura Effect, Celestial Herald Effect, and the Frost Viking Aura Effect. Good. Possible link is in the description below. This is take 1. I'm going to hopefully improve this character and get more power charges and more power charges and more frenzy charges, more endurance charges, more power, like brutal charges, maybe a headhunter. And yo, we're gonna be good. And yeah, I keep you guys updated on this build. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.